Shen, a simple 22-year-old who is a die-hard otaku, dropped out of school to do a part-time job in a cafe. He complains how they make stay back for long hours to clean and if he is an easy target while walking down the alley. Shen regrets not studying well for his major in school and not being able to land a decent job and enters his building. As he climbing the stairs, he meets a beautiful young lady in a seductive bunny costume. She exclaims, "Hey handsome lil guy," and tells him how she was just waiting for him. Shen tries to explain her that maybe she has mistaken him for someone else, but the lady further tries to charm Shen and says that she is also willing to give him a nice discount, but soon all his hopes fall as he gets to know that her price is 300 cash, which is something Shen cannot afford anyway. Shen continues his going upstairs thinking if he really had that kind of money he won't be in this kind of rip-off state right now. Shen talks to himself that he should hurry back to home because his takeaway would be there soon as he crosses a delivery boy with a package right in his hand. The delivery boy stops him in enthusiasm and tells him that his McDonald's package is her, but Shen turns him down as he ordered from KFC. Shen briefs how some men have a physique that leaves them prone to getting fat while others have a physique that gets them girls, but different from all these people, Shen has a physique that confuses everyone. As he gives examples of how a little boy confuses him for Eric Sang from Internal Affairs. He tries to open the door and gets frustrated about he every day opens the doors and every day he manages to get his jammed. He exclaims, "Come on, open for Edison Chan," and ironically the bulb goes off. Suddenly a voice from the dark says infinite misfortune, which totally terrifies Shen. He asks who's speaking, but no one answers him. Shen tries to cope saying maybe he was hallucinating in a broken voice. The voice from the dark says again, "Exterminate that which is lost. What's exterminated offers forth ashes, blood, flesh, which." This time Shen is sure that this is no hallucination and ghosts are scaring him. It won't be unlikely for such an old house to be haunted, he thinks to himself. He tries to tell the voice that maybe he has also confused Shen for someone else. The voice from the dark again replied in weird phases, "Manifest. Grand personage. Bring forth the fear of the world." This scares Shen to his wits. Suddenly a strong bolt of lightning strikes the spooky church as the scene changes. Inside the church some men are sitting wearing red capes with a man sitting on throne while the wind rustles through the windows of the church. The man sitting in the throne prays to the Lord of Ashes and offers forth a beautiful girl with her arms and legs tied as a sacrifice. The girl pleads to stop the sacrifice and let her go, but no one listens to her. The head starts calling out to the Lord of Ashes, "Infinite misfortune, the disaster's fountainhead, despiser of the white fog, Lord of Ashes, who annihilates the stars, we offer the blood and flesh," which the girl starts crying and she gets more and more scared of death, and as the chanting ends the magic circle lightens up. The men can't believe their eyes. Is their sacrificial summon really about to succeed, and will they really be able to bring the Lord of Ashes back? Everyone starts shouting "Befall, befall" in excitement of the summon. More and more lightning starts striking the hall. The leader announces that lowly men like them should not be allowed to watch such a holy scene and leaves with all other men, leaving the girl alone in the huge hall. A huge entity appears emitting a lot of light, warmth and smoke from right behind the girl. She exclaims the Lord of Ashes as she trembles from the warmth, getting drenched, making her dizzy. As she partly opens her eyes, Shen appears cutting through the smoke. Coughing, he gives her a look and wonders if she was the ghost in the dark, but as he looks closer, is she an Oppai ghost? She doesn't seem like a ghost to him, and he unties her from the binding of the rope and wonder that why she is sweating that much and if she has fever. Shen humbly asks if she is okay, trying to wake her up, and if she needs him to take her to the hospital. As she gains back her consciousness, she immediately bows down to Shen as she thinks Shen is the Lord of Ashes. Shen really gets awkward. He tries to explain that she has confused him for someone just like others, and it is not her fault, it's his physique which confusing to everyone. The girl, ignoring, praises Shen for his majestic and dazzling stature and begs to become his follower. Shen now somewhat realizes that this is different from usual and asks the girl that what sort of being she perceives him to be, to which she replies one majestic, grand and beyond description he seems to be. Shen was not able to anticipate such a description. He asked the girl dominantly if she is serious and confident of her description. Even on a little pressure by Shen, the girl got really frightened that she lost her consciousness again. Shen wondered if he is really that scary or he is being set up by the girl for a blackmail. Shen instantly took out a thermos and started pouring a coffee for the girl while thinking of the possibility of Shen being transmigrated into someone else, just like the ample of mangas and anime he has read yet. The girl gives Shen a quick glance while acting unconscious, but Shen notices her opened eyes being evidence that probably she really thinks of him as some demon god and is not trying to trick him. Shen tries to calm the girl down, asks her to not be afraid and what her name was. The girl couldn't believe that the almighty god was actually communicating to a lowly being like her. The girl timidly repeats the long title of Lord of Ashes and tells her name is Aina. Shen decides to play along with her as the Lord of Ashes. He tries to act polite and friendly and offers Aina the cup of coffee he poured for her. Ironically for Aina, the cup of coffee wasn't the same. It looked like a small container with hot rumbling lava to her. She couldn't help but wonder if this is how the Lord takes life of the sacrifice. Even though she was trembling, she accepts the cup of coffee and affirms in a serious tone that she is willing to offer her life to Shen. "What would I do with your life?" Shen shouts in his mind, but instantly comes back in his character and threatens her to speak honestly what Aina's identity is and how did she summon him. Aina got really scared, told Shen that being a sacrifice, her life entirely belongs to him, and also explains the whole situation to Shen, how this is an evil world and an evil church organization exists here which use living sacrifices to summon demon god Lord of Ashes, but instead summon him. Meanwhile, the candle light started flicking as the candle reached its last breaths. Wind started blowing again. Shen realizes that maybe the summon is over. He bids his farewell, commands Aina to properly and carefully live on her life, and tells her that she should be proud of herself for being a sacrifice. These words from Shen touch the bottom of Aina's heart, and she affirms that she will live on properly and maintain the Lord's will while tears drop from her eyes. Aina cannot help but think, why would the Lord of Ashes give such a precious reward her like that? The evil church organization has always summoned Lord of Ashes through the millennium, but a very few rewards were given to them by the Lord. She started blushing from the intrusive of the Lord being into smaller girls. She instantly cleared her mind, thinking, how could a lowly mortal like herself can understand the goals of a god? Aina looks at the container with gleaming eyes as she exits the church from the huge gate. A strong orange light dome appears around Aina as she moves out barefooted in the heavy rain. Astonishingly, no drop is able to penetrate the dome due to the powers of the Lord. Aina wonders how the terrifying powers of the nature are also no comparison to the powers of the Lord. This is the first time Aina is out in the city alone in her life, as it was not allowed to go out of the orphanage yet. She admires the big capital city of Nolan, Balan, one of the largest cities existing. While walking through the alleys, a building catches Aina's attention due to the unusual aura, but she lets it pass and hurries back to the church. Meanwhile, Shen gets transported to another place, but before he could figure out where he was, Shen falls down, directly hitting his head, and gets unconscious. After the whole night, Shen wakes up to find himself in a coffee shop. Shen feels as if it's not on his planet Earth, but if he is still in the same world. A huge hanging photo frame grabs his attention. Is he the boss of the coffee shop? Shen wonders. Suddenly a woman passes by him and orders Shen one cold brew latte. Shen was again mistaken as the boss of the coffee shop. He asks the woman if she is talking to him, to which she replies, "Who else?" in a mean tone. Shen's physique again came into play. Everyone was mistaking him for being the boss of the shop and started giving orders to him. He wonders that he is not even a bit similar to the weird man in the frame, but he apparently accepts the situation as he was having no place to go back to. Shen decided to help the place until the boss comes. Maybe he will eventually get appointed as an employee. Soon after that, Shen kept serving different people for the whole day around the clock. He was amazed by the unpredictable nature of his life, how he was just a dropout working in the cafe, to getting transported and now working at this unknown place serving people. Shen suddenly realized that boss still hasn't come yet and the whole day has passed, and if he leaves now, all the work he did for the day will go all in vain. He decided to use the room attached to the cafe with food and water as the salary for the day until the boss comes back. On other side, some people in dark black robe reach near a building and call for Dr. Norn. A man with blonde hair opened the door and asked about if this young little girl is the one who will undergo the remolding operation. To which the men replied yes, looking towards Aina. What is Aina doing there and why is she going through the operation? Dr. Norn leads Aina and the men inside the house to the underground operating room where the remolding will take place. He asks the other men to wait outside the door and asks for the burning blood, which was rewarded by the Lord. One of the men, before handing the burning blood, mentions about the uniqueness of the gift, to which the doctor replies with a smirk and enters the room. The doctor proceeds and lets Aina lie on the operation bed and locks her hands with the attached brace. He further tears one arm of her raincoat and inject an anesthetic syringe. He notifies Aina that once the anesthetic will begin to take effect, he will begin the operation. Norn, in curiosity, opens the box in which the gift is placed and gets mesmerized from the epic look of the gift. This time's sacrifice was really a success, he exclaims. He wonders in disappointment if the Lord prefers silver hair and scarlet eyes of Aina instead of his blonde hair and blue eyes, or maybe he just likes small girls. Norn informs Aina that according to the head priest, he is supposed to turn Aina into the child of God. What does God-child mean, inquires Aina, to which Norn replies that the child of God is not equivalent to the real offspring of a god but a form of address within this order. He further explains that each order has their own distinct means to acquire child of God, and the method passes down by the Chaos of Ashes order is by injection of burning blood, and through this process the selected one's body mutates to achieve superhuman powers. He tells Aina that remolding operation can only be done in the church. The reason why Aina is here is because all of the financiers are here to see the burning blood, and all of them inspire to become the child of God, and it's her fortune to be the first one to get injected and leave this weak deteriorating mortal body. Before Aina could process all the information, Norn injected a full syringe of burning blood in her hand. Aina starts feeling terrible pain. Blood starts oozing out of her mouth and eyes. All her veins swell as the blood passes through, resulting to Aina losing a consciousness. Dr. Norn gasps as he looks down on Aina as says another failure. Probably Aina was not the chosen one. Aina keeps repeating that she must keep living on. Meanwhile, Shen wonders sitting in the room if he will ever meet Aina again, but anyway it's better not to involve himself more with the church. Suddenly everything starts rumbling in the room. Is this an earthquake? Shen hears a voice and instantly remembers it. It's just like the previous one. It says palm of creation overflowing with life. Enemy of ashes, white heavenly fog. Is this a new summoning chant, thinks Shen as he starts disappearing.